Hi, Annette. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, you're welcome.
I'm so glad to see your skin looks amazing, and I know you've had a
Doesn't it?
you've had a great transformation. So I appreciate you coming on and
You're
sharing your experience
welcome.
with us because you sharing that experience with us lets others know like what it's really like,
Right.
coming on because it's not easy, and I try to be very transparent about that.
Hmm.
And just as I told you before we got on, you're telling the truth, no candy coating.
Right.
I
Right.
want like the real deal. So let's just get started with some questions.
Okay.
How did you find us? Why did you get started with us? What brought you
Okay.
here?
Okay. So I found you on Instagram and just started basically following along to see the results that other people had had. And I have struggled with discoloration and dark spots for years. I was a tanning bed person starting at age 16 until probably 7 or 8 years ago. And that is the worst thing I ever did for my skin. I also would tan outside with just sunscreen on my face, but it didn't really, it still caused me to have the discoloration. So several years ago, I guess it was 2019, I had a Halo BBL. And it did it was wonderful for my skin, but the brown spots came back relatively quickly. And so I've tried every expensive brand of skincare there is. I've tried it all to try to make these spots go away, and nothing worked. So after seeing your results, I thought, well, I'm going to give it one last try and see if that works. And so I started I think I signed up in July of 2024.
Yep. And so here we are in January
Right,
2025. So about
right.
6 months-ish.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So how did the dark spots in your face affect your day-to-day life? Like, did it bother you? Were you covering it with makeup? Like how did it affect you?
Oh, it bothered me a lot. And when I did wear makeup, I could turn my head to the side and the makeup wouldn't cover them. And if I put on blush, you could still see them. And mine kind of were right in here for the most part on the sides. And so you could really see them when I had on makeup too. And I just hated the way it looked. It just looked splotchy and horrible, really. And some of them were quite large. I mean, I think I had one over here that was really big. And just nothing would make them go away. I did start micro needling last year, and that helped, but it just didn't make them go away.
Right. Microneedling helps a lot with skin rejuvenation and anti-aging
Yes,
and just overall skin health and preventing more damage in the future. But it's really by
right,
itself, it's not going to get rid of the spots.
right,
You absolutely have to have the skincare.
right.
Um, our skincare regimens are very different
Mm-hmm.
from everywhere else. And
Right,
even the brands that we use now, use previously, they have like little kits, right? To
right,
where it's a little simple. Everybody tries to make things look real simple, like, oh, it's only 4 steps, whatever.
right. And it's not. It's not.
It's not. And our steps are very different. And I think one thing that people get really confused about when starting with us, like they just find us on Instagram or Facebook, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, what cream is this? What treatment is this? What And
Mm-hmm.
it's so hard for me to explain, like people to understand, like this is not what everybody else is saying, because we all see it on the internet all the time. Buy this
Right.
spot treatment, buy this what, and it might help a little bit, but and I'm not going to get into all that. But ultimately, it doesn't give you skin health
Right.
results that last, um, and that don't nourish the barrier. So our protocols are very different in that, we have an approach, and we also change our protocols as your skin changes, because your
Mm-hmm.
needs in 3 months aren't what they were when you started with us.
Right.
Our protocols, when you get them, as you know, are long.
Yes.
They're long because and not necessarily that it's that many steps, it's just that it comes with a lot of explanation, because
Right.
I give a ton of information. I think knowledge is power, and an educated patient is a compliant patient. But
Right.
in getting that the first time, how overwhelming was that? How did you feel about it?
Right.
How did you make yourself do it? Because obviously you did. Your skin's clear.
Right. Well, when I got the first really long, I guess I don't even know what to call it, uh,
A
2 or 3
novel.
page protocol, I actually thought I would never learn, what products what and which order and that kind of thing. So I just wrote down everything in order, 1 through, 10 or whatever. And basically had to look at it every time I did my face a couple times a day. And so then after a while, I just, picked up on it really quickly. Some of the products, when we had the Zoom calls and you would talk about the products, I would think, oh my gosh, I don't know what that is. How am I ever going to learn? But once you do it for a couple months, it's just like, I could do it in my sleep.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
gets easier. And
Yeah.
also the protocols, whenever if just speaking to people out there that may end up joining us, when you get the protocols and when you just get started, there is a lot of explanation on that
Right.
protocol sheet. So it could be 4 pages if you print it
Yes.
out, like depending on your protocol.
Right.
But so, and you said something that a previous patient said to me as well, is that she went down and she just wrote down the steps.
Right.
And as she was saying that, I thought, I wonder if I should like have another page of the protocol where it just lists the steps, 1 through
Yeah.
whatever, and
That's a
then
good
this is
idea.
10 p.m. And then I was like, nah, because when you learn by writing, this comes from the teacher in me. Like, so I
Right.
always just tell my students, like, you learn by writing, write
Hmm.
your notes, don't just, whatever. And it's true, your brain, you do, it registers in the brain, you start to learn the steps
Right.
when you write them down. So I think that it's great that you guys like get it and you write the steps down and post it on a sticky note on your mirror, whatever it may be, some
Right.
drawer. But after doing it for a little bit, you get very accustomed to it. And then
Right.
as protocols go on, they change, but a lot of times they're the same products. You're just using them in a different way. Protocols have their ups and downs. It's
Yes.
not all, rainbows and bird
Roses.
shaping and
Correct.
all of those good things. My computer's about to die. Let me find a plug. 1 second.
Okay.
Thought it was plugged in, and it's not. Let's see. I just stretched my plug a little too far. Sorry.
That's all right.
So it's not all, like that's one thing about me is whenever even when I start my initial calls with people, I tell people like I would joke and say sometimes like you're gonna call me a bitch more than one time. It's not an easy thing, just like getting fit is not easy. And I often compare it to getting fit, and I should not.
Right.
I don't know anything about getting fit because I'm not fit. I'm not that committed. I should be, but I'm not. But it's the same thing. Like I'm never going to be fit if I don't go through,
Hmm.
sacrificing eating the
Right.
junk and drinking the cokes and getting on the treadmill or working out even when I don't feel like it. Or
Hmm.
when you get sore, like when you get sore, you just stop. Like what happens? You
Hmm.
just reverse. You never grow if you don't push
Right.
through. So like skincare is the same thing. And so I'm sure you've had to go through some things. So how did you get
Yes.
past that? What motivated you to keep going?
Well, there have been days, and I'm still going through being very, very sensitive because once you start the correctives and get really deep into them, your face sometimes feels like it's on fire. And I actually have a little handheld fan that I keep on my bathroom counter for when my face is on fire. But to me, that's proof that it's working, I guess, and then when you really start to see results, you get past all the pain and the peeling and all of that because it's working.
Right,
And
right,
it's not all, rainbows and roses.
right.
The peeling and when you put on makeup and it doesn't really look that great, but
Doesn't look good at all.
you
No.
don't care. I tell my husband I just won't get close to anybody, and that way they won't see it.
Well, I think what helps too is like, and I'm going to compare to working out again, is the few times that I did in my life, like start to like work out and you
Hmm.
start to see that muscle tone start coming or you start to see your
Hmm.
body change, even though it sucks. I think this is how people get addicted to working out. Cause like,
Yes.
when people who really work out, like it's their life, they love it. I
Yeah.
have not experienced that, but it's the same thing. And like, our patients, I feel like, are not going to miss their like once they
Oh
start seeing
no.
results, they are not missing the protocol. And what makes it easier is you start seeing
Hmm.
those results, which
Right.
makes it really, really nice. Um, but you won't die. Like I always tell
No,
people, you won't
I'm
die.
still
I don't
alive,
think any,
as you can see.
yeah, I don't think anyone's ever missed work from it, but the results come pretty fast. How fast did you start seeing your results?
So I started seeing results as far as texture and things like that pretty early on, within, a month or so. Once I started getting into the correctives, though, it was really fast. And it's like one day you look in the mirror and think, oh my gosh, my skin is perfect. You might not see it and all the time because you're constantly looking in the mirror and doing your skincare so you don't see it, and then one day you just walk up to the mirror and go, oh wow, this is incredible. And then probably within 3 months I really noticed that my dark spots were almost gone.
Nice.
And like I said, it's almost like you wake up one day and they're gone. It's crazy, but it has been miraculous.
And
It's been crazy how fast that it happened. um no lasers, no treatments, no pills, nothing. It just works.
I think also it's incredible that it works so fast, but and being able to see it happen so fast,
Hmm.
I think that's a great thing too. And then, what but whenever these things get so hard, I recently saw a post that somebody made and it was going pretty viral. She was bashing another skincare brand that we previously used.
Hmm.
And and like people don't understand, like, so she was saying, basically she was saying that you don't have to rip your skin off to, get results. Well, I'm here to tell everybody that if you want pigment to be gone
Right.
and you want it to be gone long term and you want your skin healthy, there's no other way to treat pigment.
Yes,
There's no other way.
the
There's
layers
no other
must
way.
come off.
But what makes us very different than everyone else is that I push nourishing the barrier the whole time.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
while we're going through these changes, we're continuously nourishing our barrier
Hmm.
heavily so that
Right.
we're keeping that barrier strong so that we don't go into chronic inflammation. And
Right.
we are very picky about that. And we watch your protocols, as you know,
Right.
very, very, very closely. And if you're not treating your barrier the way you should, we stop. Like
Right.
it's not, we won't compromise your barrier. So, you know, I wanted to comment on the post, but I didn't because I'm not trying to get into
Right.
a social media controversy. But because everybody has their own opinion and not everybody's focus is pigment and mine is, and I'm very experienced in it. But you have to treat pigment fast,
Right.
responsibly.
Right.
And fast is just as important as responsibly. So we're
Right.
very, very picky. I'm very bossy about routines, about your regimens. And
Mhm.
so I always feel like trust is very, very important before anyone starts. So
Mhm.
stalk us for a
Oh,
long
I stalked.
time.
Right.
But many people have stalked for like a year. Like stalk
Yeah.
us, look at our results,
Hmm.
and watch these YouTube videos like that I have out there where patients are
Right.
talking about it. Like it's real people, real things. And I'm not candy coating everything, but it works. It
It
works.
does.
It's just how
It
bad people
does.
want it. Um, if you were to sum up everything into one thing and just like if someone asked you whether they should start or not, what would you say?
Oh, absolutely. It is game changing when you've tried, especially when you've tried everything. You've tried, peels, you've tried lasers, like I said, every expensive brand of skincare out there. This works like no other. If you really want to get it done and have beautiful skin, this is the way to go. And you will make it. You will survive the my face is on fire symptoms. You'll survive. And, for me, it's like clockwork. I don't even think about it anymore. I just, as soon as I get up in the morning, I do it. And about an hour or so before I go to bed, I do it. I actually look forward to it because I know I'm going to get results. When we go on vacation, If we fly, I check a bag specifically because of my skincare, because the bottles are greater than what you can carry on.
Yeah.
So, I'll pay the $100 to check a bag if I have to, just to take my skincare with me.
Yeah. We used to years ago be able to just like carry on and not check
Right.
in, but
Yep.
yeah. Sometimes I might sacrifice it if we're just going on a quick 2-day trip, but longer
Hmm.
than that, it's coming with
Right.
me a
Yeah.
hundred
I don't,
percent.
I've been doing this since probably July, and I don't think I've missed maybe 2 nights with my skincare over 6 months.
And I also don't think that people realize how much dark spots and texture,
Hmm.
because this changes your texture
Oh, it does.
tremendously.
Yes.
So I don't think people realize how much changing, and it doesn't even have to be melasma or significant dark spots. It's just
Hmm.
creating an even skin tone, period, because it
Yes,
redistributes your pigment. I don't think people realize until you do it how much younger it makes you look.
it does. And
And
people have told me that, and we're our own worst critics.
mhm,
And the selfie, I guess, has hurt women as far as how they judge themselves.
it has destroyed
It
everybody.
has.
It
It
is,
really has. It's
mhm.
because you see every line, you see every wrinkle, you see everything that's different, And so, but people have told me lately, "Oh my gosh, your skin looks so great." And honestly, my skin looks better than it did 25, 30 years ago.
Mm,
I'm 53 years old, and the texture and the color, everything looks so much better than it did when I was younger. And I know
mhm.
it's, a lot of it is because I'm not tanning. My face hasn't seen the sun since 2018. It's hat, sunblock, umbrella when I'm at the beach, and I have a pool. When I lay out, my face is covered.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable, really.
I'll be 52 in about a weekish
Mm-hmm.
ish. And I know that my skin looks better than it did 20 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. I'm not saying
Yes.
that I haven't aged, but my skin
Right.
definitely looks a lot better. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to say also, and not to say that I didn't overdo it whenever, Botox and things got really, really popular years
Mm-hmm.
ago in our area. Um, but I was a 52 unit girl every 2.5 months.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
without a doubt, this is a big old
Right.
forehead. I
Forehead.
had a lot of
Right.
units.
Me
And
too.
so, and now I might get Botox 2 to 3 times a year. Still
Right.
get it. I'm not
Me
saying
too.
anything about it, bad about it.
Me
I still
too.
get it. But it's so much less. And when I get it, it's between 25 to 30 units.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I'm not saying that I don't have wrinkles because I do. It's just not the first thing that I see anymore.
You see the skin texture and how smooth it is, and it just looks like child skin, like baby skin.
Hmm.
And like I said, one day you just wake up and look in the mirror and think, "Oh my gosh, my skin is amazing." And
And
men don't really notice it. My husband, I could get a facelift and he wouldn't notice. That's the truth. But other women notice it.
Mhm.
They'll say to me, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing? Why does your skin look so good? What are you doing? What products do you use?" And so I've made recommendations, to you guys, because to me it's the only thing that works.
Yeah.
And it's the combination of products too, and how you layer and how you kind of mix things up. I
It's
think
all about,
that's the key.
it's
Hmm.
key. Like I trained a group of professionals not long ago, and I made it very like, yeah, I love brands that I work with right now, but
Hmm.
it's not the only brand that can create these results. It's all
Right.
about putting the right ingredients together and
Hmm.
right combinations, and it's about walking people through and coaching, and it's also about not keeping that same routine throughout. Like I said,
Right.
so even if your skin looks amazing and you're on maintenance, still in 2 months, we're going to change it up a little bit
Hmm.
because what you
Right.
need then is, your hormones are different, the environment's different, you're aging, all the things. Like you've still
Hmm.
got to change things up a little bit, not necessarily change all of your products, but just the way that you use them.
Absolutely.
And so we're constantly tricking those skin cells. You said, your skin looks like a baby. We're essentially what we're doing. We're making
Hmm.
those skin cells think they're younger
Right.
and they're acting like they're younger. So what happens when you stop? Your
Oh,
skin
right.
cells go right back. So
There's
like
no way I would
there's no
stop.
way. And this is something else
No
that
way.
this is something else that people in general, and I'm not saying every med spa out there, but a lot of people paint this picture. Oh, get these three treatments or get these two
Yes.
or get on this routine for like 3 months and then you're good. They're full
Hmm.
of crap. Like that's not
Right.
going to happen because no one's
Right.
changing the fact that we're aging and our skin cells have aged and we've damaged the hell out of them between the
Right.
environment and what we eat and everything else.
Right.
We
And
are simply,
hormones. You said hormones. My gosh.
yeah.
That has a lot to do with, I think, the pigmentation, because like I
Hmm.
said, I haven't
Absolutely.
my face hasn't seen the sun since 2018. So obviously something's causing the brown
Right.
spots. So I really truly believe it's hormonal.
It's hormonal, but also you have to think about too, and this is what I tell people about lasers, is even though you don't get the immediate result, like the immediate, like more pigment. Some people get it right
Hmm.
away. I've seen it really bad from any heated treatments, but I've also seen it where it did like they thought they were okay. But
Hmm.
I look at the damage on my arms and my legs from the sun that
Yeah.
happened when I laid out on the roof in the 80s on the Silver Mountain,
Yes.
Frisco and iodine. I don't know
On
what
a
the hell I
black
was thinking,
trash
but that's what
bag.
we did. We didn't have social media. We baked in the sun.
Yes, we did.
So, so, but it looked great. That inflammation in my skin, because that's what your skin, that's what a tan is your skin crying for help. That's inflammation. That
Hmm.
inflammation and those melanocytes producing pigment looked great at 16.
Yes.
These spots are from when I was on my arms and legs are from when I was
Hmm.
16, not from
Right.
yesterday. So
Right.
it will bite you sooner or later. And I think
Hmm.
that's something that's important for people to really consider and think about.
Hmm. Oh, and I
Um,
preach that to my children too. I have all boys, and my youngest is the only one who will really listen and take care of his skin, but he does not walk outside without sunscreen.
nice.
Now, my other ones, they don't care, but the youngest is all about skincare. I mean, I think, well, I've done something right raising this child. If nothing else, he takes good care of his face.
Yeah, I preach it. I preach it to my kids too. I mean, I can't say that they're younger, of course.
Right.
But well, 26 and 31, but they um they don't do a routine like I'd like them to do, even though
Right.
they should, because they've got access to things that other people don't have access
Right.
to. But they do wear sunscreen and they, try for, a little bit. I'm sure they're
Right.
later on try a lot more, but it's human nature. We don't want to fix it until it's broken. And that's
Right. And, if I had it to do over with, of course, back when I was younger, we didn't have all this skincare. It
right.
was
Us either.
Noxema and
Eczema, yeah.
all those crazy things, olive olay, things like that. But if the product had been around 20 years ago,
Oh,
I would have, oh my gosh, I would have been so
amazing.
thankful. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But
But
you
it
look
wasn't.
great
So,
now.
but
You look
thank
amazing
you.
now.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining us. I
Oh, you're
really
welcome.
appreciate it. It
Happy to
means
do
so
it.
much, and you're able to help so many more women just by getting on here and giving your
Yes.
testimony. So I
And start
appreciate it.
young. That's my advice. Start younger. If you're 30, start this now. Don't wait until you're 50 years old. Start now and keep it up.
But if you are 50 or even older, I've got people in their 70s doing it. My
Hmm.
mother's in her 70s, she's doing it. Like
Hmm.
it's not too late.
No, 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 no.
You can get great skin, but the younger you start, the
The
less
better.
expensive it is, first
Right.
of all. And then also you're going to prevent, and prevention is 100% key.
Hmm.
So
Yes. And you'll look forward to that monthly email with your protocols. I do. I'm due this week to get my protocol and I can't wait.
awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank
And you have an
you.
amazing day. Stay
You
warm out
too.
there.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Mhm.